It makes me wonder now because Senna can be your next go-to. It's not as explosive as a Varus. It's not explosive as a Ziggs, but I feel like it creates that safety or aggression if you pair it with a set at the bottom lane.
I kind of want to see Rest's Ashe here. He plays a very good Ashe.
Acrobat too.
I think that would give him them the kind of engage they want.
Yes.
Start some fights very well. Be good in these late game team fights.
I remember while watching the KDF versus RY roster, when Acrobat would pick Ashe, the casters would like, finally, it's unleashed. So we'll see now Kha'Zix though for Type.
Yeah, this is a very cool pick because it gives Sentinels that late game assassination potential. It also means Zeki not going to get one of their favorite characters.
Alistair getting locked on in for Beg one more time. He's back.
Playing
Galileo. Again, could have gone with the Galileo, goes with the Alistair here. Let's see what the response is by Kwangdong Freecs, but they did take a decent amount of time there, did Sentinels, thinking about it.
I think it's really good that the Alistair is there, right? Because not only do you have engage, but it also, if KDF wants to get into your carries, just push them back, basically. But this is now the Sen and Nasus.
Wow.
Back to basics, back to classics, just as we talked about. No Ziggs. Varus didn't work out too well for Acrobat, so let's just get the next big thing.
Get some coffee. We're not just gaming past midnight. We're gaming past 2 a.m. at this rate. This is the latest game composition that could be set up for by KDF, and Sentinels are matching it.
Yeah, and the main reason why you pull that out is because, hey, you know, if my bot laner is not really landing any damage, you know what helps? Extra range and extra damage with clicking. All you gotta do is click, and there it is, or tap. And all you gotta do there with Senna, tap on it.
And I will note, Sentinels go back to the bread and butter. I asked for the Ashe. It's one of Rest's other favorite picks, this Lux, which did not look good in game number 1.
It looks bad.
Did not look like it was set up for success. Here's the difference. We do have this Alistair kind of online after that last game. Does Beginnings' return to form maybe herald the same for Rest? Can the confidence boost set up for those combos that they were missing? It's all about the final sparks.
Yeah, exactly right. Game number 2 set the tone. Game number 2 put them back on track, gain that confidence, just as you mentioned. So this is going to be a bit tricky because you see a Lux, but you see a Singed and a Nasus at the other side for KDF. That means you have range, that means you have hold, that means KDF may have an issue reaching the Lux later on.
Bans from Sentinels burning through Maru's pool. It's Fiora, then Renekton, not giving Maru anything to play with. They'll also have the first pick out of this, which will go to MTS, presumably, continuing to narrow that pool. KDF know this, so they ban out 2 of MTS's best characters. The top lane pool, very small.
There is still Aurelia, TJ. I feel like Aurelia could be the angle that Maru can take.
I don't know if I've ever seen MTS play Aurelia.
That is true.
So Darius, Akali is still on up here, so there are things to be played. Aurelia, unless we
it's
go
a top lane backed up.
Aurelia for Maru, I feel like.
Yeah, there it is, the Darius. That's what I figured. We've seen a lot of that in the WNS, so going to something where MTS can hold lane.
Pretty good matchup into the Aurelia and the Akali, if that's what's going on, because both those characters rely on mobility. Darius can interrupt it. The Akali in particular, you can pull her out of the smoke veil. You could decimate her in the smoke veil. So Maru got some choices to make. The other lock-in that needs to happen here is the jungle for KDF. We'll see that first. This needs to be an assassin for Maru, otherwise they do not have backline access. The Olaf has to walk in front to back.
I know this is probably a long shot, but we've seen Zed tops before in the WRL.
Really, Riku?
I know we're digging deep because the jungle pool is so constricted. At the top of my head, either it's Aurelia, Akali back again for Maru, or the possible Zed top. It is going to be Akali this time again.
The top lane bathtub yields an Akali. And the last pick for Sentinels, still to come, their mid laner. For Mali, one of the heroes of this team, the Zoomer they recruited, when the old men, the veterans on this team, felt they needed some firepower.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's made a couple of positioning mistakes, but has dished out a decent amount of damage. Corki's still on up, something that he's played earlier. Diana, still an opportunity. Orianna! So Molly flexing the champ who are here and played 3 different champions.
Full faith in Tybe is what that means. You are going to have that bug carrying your ball into the team fight, and you are praying that he gets it in good position, gets you access to the Senna, lets you disable that front line, and come late game, that Orianna will be the highest damage character on the map, bar none, in a long team fight.
One word, how do you feel about this?
Exciting, I know, pretty basic.
That's so many words.
I
Rick.
know!
Too many words. TJ, one word.
Good.
All right, there you go. Better than me. Nervous. Let's send it on over to the casters to get into our final game.
Kha'Zix was one of the champions that Tybe took down Tribe in a community tournament and almost dethroned Tribe from the Kings of the Table back on Enemy. But Sentinels, it's going to be more that they have to dig deep. You are talking about dethroning and taking down one of the best team fighting teams, not just in Korea, but in the world. But if you can do that, Sentinels will have gained and rewarded themselves with North America's first ever international series victory.
And that is huge for North America. That is huge for the Sentinels. And no doubt, the pressure is also on the Kwangdong Freecs, who want to keep their tournament life alive. Keep in mind how the WCK did at the Horizon Cup, with Roaster Y representing their region so very well, going up to the top 4. KDF, they played a full 7-game series against Roaster Y to qualify to the Icons Global Championship. This is not a bad team. This is a really good team. This is one of the best that Korea has. And Sentinels are pushing them to the limit.
And Kwangdong Freecs, they know that they were so close to being the #1 seed for Korea instead of Roaster Y. For them to have tried so hard.
And got so far.
They don't want to be the one that goes home either. And one thing that you have to always be cautious about, if you're a team that is coming back from a reverse sweep, yes, you have the momentum on your side, but it doesn't mean that you can count out Kwangdong Freecs.
Yes. You can't rest on your laurels here. The series is not over.
Correct.
But the good news is, the Sentinels do have a pretty good win condition this game. There's a lot of scaling. There's a lot of strong, easy team fighting tools. Orianna, Shockwave, locks, bindings, shielding, Alistair combo, reset potential from Darius, reset potential from Kha'Zix. Sentinels could very well do it, but KDF, they've gone back to basics. They've got a lot of scaling too.
Exhaust.
Oh,
Flip.
there we go.
And there is the play. Kwangdong Freecs
No
looking to
acrobat.
answer, but Molly,
No,
does he get out alive? He got the speed boost. He dodges out on Korea's first move and trying to shut down Sentinels in the early game.
And Acrobat did not start with his W. He did not start with the root. Now Maru might be dead as well.
I don't think Tybe is going to flash for it.
I think he does.
Oh, but on the other side, Zeki hit level 5 thanks to counter jungling all of the camps from Tybe to the blue side, catching out Beginnings, and that's first blood for Korea.
Beginnings gets taken down. That's the Alistair gone. That's the first blood to Zeki as well. The Zoloft is such a big part of the KDF team comp, such a big part of the early team fighting. Think about how the KDF want to play this game out. Maru's going to come from the flank angle, but you've got Sentinels behind you as your Singed and your Olaf run into the faces of Sentinels. So for that to happen, you need your Olaf to be strong, and he's off to a good start.
When Analyst Desk was talking about how important it was for Tybe to pop off, you have to look on the other side. Tybe having great laurels of success in Game 2, but Zeki, one of the best Korean junglers that WCK has to offer. And if he is getting accelerated on the Olaf early, something that Tybe was not able to do in Game 1, then Sentinels are going to be in a world of trouble.
And Tybe is playing a much more difficult jungle matchup this time around. Wukong, he looked very practiced on it. He was very clean on it, to his credit. But it has a much simpler play pattern than a Kha'Zix, which needs to be slippery, which needs to be mechanically on point. Let's see if this guy subbing in for Sentinels, if Tybe can do it here.
Molly potentially fishing for a shockwave here. There it goes, and they know that Kwai doesn't have flash from before. It's an easy pickup here for Sentinels, punishing on the lack of summoner spells from KDF.
That is huge. Yeah, not only Kwai, everyone on the side of KDF has no flashes up. They've expended everything trying to make early game plays. The good news is it will be up for the 5-minute objective spawn, but that does cost Charlie his life. Now they want Molly, but just exhausts you and walks away.
Kwangdong making sure to establish presence and control of the map. We're 40 seconds away from the first 2 objectives on the Rift here.
Yeah, this is gonna be a big one. Both of these teams comps want to fight. Both of these team comps can fight, can scale, can trade. And given how the series has gone, given how the nature of these two teams seem to be playing out here, I feel like we might see the first spawn of objectives just be traded away. Your backs are against the wall here. This is your tournament life on the line. You don't want to flip it for the dragon, do you?
Sentinels, seems like that is the objective they want. They find a target here. Final Spark does connect. A lot of burst damage on to Noth, but he's a giant Nasus.
He had the shockwave. I'm not sure if it was up there, but Molly didn't commit the shockwave. That should still be enough for the KDF squad to pick up this dragon, though.
Zeki has this blast code. He can get in.
Wanna go for
3,000
it.
HP. He has vision. Can Tide secure this dragon away? Zeki comes in, but it is secured by Molly out of all people. Now Sentinels, can they turn this fight around? Zeki is forced to flash away, but he's got nowhere else to run. Ragnarok cannot allow you to go through walls.
Maru!
But Maru, can he come in and be the savior? Already finds one assassination on the beginnings. Looking for another one on
goes in.
MTS. Perfect execution.
Maru!
Gonna get the strike. Acrobat committing forward, but MTS still manages to get out alive. But it is Molly that is left to the Wolves of Korea. And Kwangdong Freecs not going down without a fight.
And Kwangdong Freecs strike back. You lose Zeki, you lose the dragon. But what a heroic performance from Maru. Not just in this game, but in the last game as well. When it comes time to be clutch, his Akali has been clutch.
Finding the key targets in this fight. If you take a look back at the replay, Zeki was in there early. Not
Zeki
enough.
was trying to steal it away, and with the reckless swings, you would think he could. But at the end, it was neither jungler to cut
Back
it.
into it.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's gonna
it's
be the Rift Herald.
KDF now have control of the Rift Herald. Oh, Tide's in there. I've seen he steal these before,
Oh,
but
no.
it is Zeki that clutches it out. A little too early on the smite from Tide. Good attempt, gets out with the leap. No harm, no foul, but Kwangdong Freecs edge out.
Neck and neck game so far between the Kwangdong Freecs and Sentinels. I think it's time to talk about the scaling. I feel like both of these teams have insane scaling, honestly. SEN and Nasus, we know how well that combo does in mid to late game team fights. We know what Maru's Akali can do if you give him the resources. On the side of Sentinels, though, I feel like it's all about the Orianna, it's all about the Lux, the healing, the shielding. Well, no healing, but the shielding. And the AoE team fighting tools are gonna be huge here. Both teams have decent scaling. Really comes down to execution, I think.
Yes, perfect execution, one might add.
Yeah.
Sentinels here. This back line has the potential to absolutely blow up multiple members of Kwangdong Freecs. The later the game goes on, Shockwave and Final Spark can do so much AoE damage. The problem is that their damage, it is localized. It is dependent on hitting skill shots, whereas Maru, he is the one that is diving into the back lines. And if he connects, he will rip them apart.
Well, this is gonna be a fight here. Beginnings goes in.
Sentinel, oh, he was rooted up, but he still connects for the knockup, and it forces Zeki's Ragnarok.
Oh,
Major
man.
tool used.
Good news for KDF. No objectives to fight for. They can just back away from this one. But Tide once more.
He's poking them down. Zeki no longer has access to Ragnarok, but he is caught off by Noth here. Tide has flash available. He's gonna have to use it to get out of this one.
This game is neck and neck right now. Both teams trading resources. Both teams not wanting to give anything up. Frankly, Rafa, I expected both teams to play more conservatively considering the stakes of this one.
Hell
But
no!
hell no! Both teams are going for it.
That's right. You can't play scared anymore. It's what got you into this part of the bracket. You have to play with confidence if you want to be the ones claiming and fighting for a chance to be the second seed out of Group D, where Liberty is awaiting their opponent, watching from the hotel, getting ready to prepare and study which opponent they have to face tomorrow.
And I can't help but feel like both of these teams would consider Liberty a beatable opponent as well. It's not a WRL team, it's not a WCS team. If you win this matchup, you could just make it to groups. I mean, one step at a time, right? But so much rests on this game here.
Brazil fans might come for you after
I said that
one.
Liberty were gonna win, to be fair. But it's not an unwinnable matchup for either one of these teams. That's what makes it exciting. This bracket has such high stakes here.
If we've learned anything from this Icons tournament, it's that anything is possible. Any team is beatable. No matter what the percentages are, you can see the unthinkable happen.
Oh, nice foot-about answer from MTS to get out of that one.
Oh,
One
pull,
more.
apprehend, right onto Zeki. He's forced to pull Ragnarok once again.
Not
This
just
Rift Herald,
that, the Dawning Shadows and Exhaust was used as well.
a lot of resources just to try to take down MTS. And I think the analyst has pointed out well, especially TJ, MTS, one of these characters, one of these players that has a long history. Hold that, beginnings, forced to use the ultimate so he doesn't go down to Maru. Oh, but he might have put himself in a bad spot.
Maru's clean with it.
Oh man, that was close.
He burns everything, but he gets out with his life.
You can see Molly was waiting on the shockwave and thought that he had finally clipped enough time for Maru before he could get out with a perfect execution, but it was just milliseconds that he escapes.
So very close there, and now so close to the second set of objective spawns as well. KDF have the inside track, but Sentinels have more members they're coming to play. Oh, they're gonna get Rest!
Oh, that's flip. Rest is all isolated, but he gets out. Lightbinding stops it in its tracks. Final Spark is traded back, but Beginnings, a major frontliner piece for Sentinels, is lost. 5-on-4 advantage for Kwangdong Freecs. They have advantageous positioning now.
Look at
in
Maru!
The Dragon Pit. Oh, but they put out Nom. He's forced to flash away, and Maru's waiting on the flank once again. We've seen it how it can completely destroy a team. Rest
the
still
Twin
has
Shadows.
Flash and Exhaust available. Looking for Shuriken backflip. Doesn't connect here.
This is so intense. The flip.
Shockwave from Molly! That's huge! A lot of burst damage down. Sentinels, can they capitalize? Can they burn down the dragon? Zeki forced to turn back onto the dragon, but it is still him that secures it. But Maru finds a huge burst damage, but not onto the long run. And it is time looking to clean up the stragglers here for Kwangdong Freecs. Infernal Dragon clutch.
Oh, look at time, look at
time.
time.
But now Tyve is looking to cut them off here. He's got the health, he's got the shield,
dead!
and a huge light binding from Rest. Finds the last two stragglers for a prime
Gaming!
ace!
Sentinels have done it! They lost the dragon, but they get the ace! They take out the Kwangdong Freecs! But Rafa, you look at the gold and you realize it's still even.
It's not over yet, but we
It's
take a look back at the
not,
replay.
it's not.
How chaotic was this fight?
They get the flip down, but that forces your team into a choke. You are funneled together. The shockwave pulls you in, and even though Maru once again pulls off a valiant, heroic attempt, it's not quite enough. There's no follow-up.
And you can see just how back and forth they are. The shockwaves, you think that's game ending, but then you remember Sentinels only had 4 members. Beginnings had died previously in the lead up to the fight, so he wasn't there to follow up. Teleported in. Maru answers back with his own perfect execution, takes 2 members out. It is just so neck and neck right now. Sentinels and Kwangdong Freecs, neither team has the overall advantage yet.
Sentinels have pulled ahead to a gold lead. They've taken some turrets. And that's gonna be Sentinels just getting what they won, backing away. And they're in a good spot. They gotta feel comfortable right now, and they have some scaling on their side too. The Orianna, the Lux, the simple team fighting tools that we always talked about are in the pockets of the Sentinel squad.
And look at, I just want to point something out. I don't often look at itemization, but MTS, instead of buying into the Hull Breaker, he goes not only for pure damage in the Trinity Force first item, but he also goes for an immediate force of nature, recognizing that the major players of this game from Kwangdong Freecs is Maru on this Akali. If he can withstand the burst, he can win the extended fight.
He knows he's not killing any tanks this game. He's not playing against a Shen. He's not playing against a Garen. He's killing squishies. The Triforce is great for that. And the Force of Nature, of course, you're playing against Triple, Magic, Team Comp, Akali, Singed, and Nasus. Fantastic itemization from MTS. It's serving him well so far.
As long as he can stay alive, as he can walk up as a pseudo front line, that gives so much room to breathe for both Molly and Rest to pump out major burst damage. This Rift Herald will it even get a charge out. It's going to be close. Oh, but can they bait the fate out? Shockwave connects once again. Quire gets out with the skin of his teeth. Now Sentinels still trying to see if they can follow up on this engage. Light Binding not going to connect. Still 2 cannon minions, but Kwangdong Freecs holding on to this tower.
They are still trying to siege this, but they're not gonna get anything from that. They just force some bases, force some spells, but KDF will get away with their life. And you look at the game state, the entire early mid-game, KDF had the lead, but that last team fight over the Infernal Dragon swung it right back around to Sentinels. And frankly,
good pull. Maru has perfect execution.
He's
going to use it to escape now. That's a great force out of it. Oh, Maru.
Big greedy there.
Maru was trying to get fancy with it. A huge play, but it goes awry. Forced to flash away.
Maru is trying to do too much right now, and can you blame him, Rafa? You look at the last 2 games, or rather this game, last game, he's been trying to put his team on his back, That's gonna be a tier 2 here for Sentinels.
The tier 1. Oh, Zeki, has he found Molly onto the backside? He's rooted off.
Yes.
There's no Shen shield this time, but it's Beginnings looking for the flank. Zeki gets out alive. Acrobat was forced to flash. Tybe looking to punish, popping the stealth, but it's Choir here to prevent any members of Sentinels from catching up with Zeki.
That's gonna be just 1 kill onto Molly, a little bit of gold into the pockets of Zeki, but that's not anything significant. We've talked about this. You get the kill, but then what? You get nothing out of it. And to add insult to injury, you lose your top tier 2 turret as well. Sentinels are starting to run away with this game. I guess you could say the consolation prize though is 3 items here on the Nasus, the Akali, and the Olaf. These are going to be the big players to look out for in the next team fight.
In 25 seconds, Omo,
Yeah.
it is the Elder
Oh,
Dragon spawning.
Time flies, Rafa. This is the 3rd Elder Dragon we've seen in this series. This game, it's been so intense. 16 kills in 16 minutes. Not a lot, but a lot for this series.
Fans from the WCK, fans from the WNS, all watch with mouths open, with eyes glued to their screens, waiting to see what will be the outcome.
Man, it's so intense right now. Both of these teams neck and neck, posturing for the Elder Dragon that will decide this game, that will decide the series, that will decide who goes to groups.
Tybe looking for poke. Zeki pops the Ragnarok. Beginnings goes in, punts Acrobat away. Shockwave connects only onto 1. The rest of Sentinels still posturing backwards, but Beginnings seems to have fallen to Kwangdong Freecs. Numbers advantage gained for Kwangdong Freecs now. Damage has been put down onto Acrobat and Zeki. Can Tybe fish for stragglers right now? Maru looking for a flank of some sort. Tybe now posturing, inching forward, pushing Kwangdong Freecs back. As long as they can stall time for Beginnings, he
Maru
can come
again.
back. Maru once again with the flank. Sentinels, you have to wonder, oh, sure, can backflip it connects. Can they punish? But Stasis catches it out. Light Binding is dodged out. Maru looking for it. Tybe, Shockwave connects onto 3, but MTS is burned down to a
That's
crisp.
so low.
And now Maru, will he take the shuriken backflip overtime? He's gonna go
He's
for
going
a volley, but the exhaust, Stasis, Tybe jumping in to punish Maru. They take him out the
No, they should
Akali
have
is
finished the
gone.
dragon.
Oh, Tybe goes in, 1v3. Can they punish? Light Binding is huge, but Tybe is burning down the slows. But Kwangdong Freecs, they're so low. Sentinels have to clean up. They have to punish now. This is their time. Tybe has the GA. He spawns back. He fights 1. He fights 2. Sentinels have taken out 4, and that could be the Elder.
They've taken out 4 and they don't want the Elder.
What?
They want the Baron, I think. They've got their sights set on that one. And I think they can do it, but they're so low. It's so dangerous. Let's take a look at this team fight. Maru.
That's the Elder. Go to the Elder.
I think so too,
Please.
Rafa. I think so too. Maru tries to go for the heroics. So low on everyone on the side of the Kwangdong Freecs. That shockwave was massive. They've got to get the Baron here in the picture-in-picture. And Maru, he tries to go for the heroics again, but he tries too hard. And the rest of KDF as well. You could have finished the Elder, but they try to save Maru.
Okay, well, I'm going to believe that Sentinels are doing the right thing.
They know what they're doing, Rafa. They've gotten this far.
We'll have to find out and see, I guess.
A look of disbelief in the
Here's-
face of Rafa. Oh my
With
god.
Max celebrating with Max screen. It's not over yet.
You love
But they
to see
seem
it.
to have major positional advantage. And with the Baron buff, MTS now can put pressure. And it seems that Kwangdong Freecs just, even with time to spawn. Wow.
5.6 thousand
I
damage
am
in time.
sorry for doubting you, Sentinels.
Yeah. They get the Baron, they get the Elder. A 3,000 gold lead, nothing significant, but wow, Sentinels.
The game is not over yet. Sentinels have to close this game out cleanly. The execution cannot leave any room for errors. Kwangdong Freecs still have a chance to get into this game. Tybe is deep into enemy lines. He can jump without any fear at this point.
Oh,
Pairing
no,
up
the
minions,
KDF
pounding
squad.
away at the Nexus, pounding away. Tybe jumping forward once again. Sentinels, 5 members strong here, looking to corral Kwangdong Freecs through the top side of this lane. And Exhaust goes out onto Molly, slows him down. Watch for the ball, watch for the
Chalice dead.
shockwave. It comes in. That's the first reset onto Choir. Kwangdong Freecs watching from afar. And they're chances be salvaged, but Sentinels! This is NA's hopes on the line! Do you believe? I've always believed Sentinels close this game out! Maru looking to salvage Korea's chances, hopes, and dreams, but Seki, that's it! I've always believed Sentinels will stay alive in Icons with the first International Series win for North America against Korea!
And Sentinels booked themselves a rematch with Liberty with a ticket to group stages.
Tybe, the rookie, here on this stage, his first ever international stage, was jumping in aggressively, finding the big plays, the aggression that Sentinels were lacking in game number 1 in order to earn that gold chart swing. Because lest we forget, KDF started that game strong.
That's true. I also want to add in, you know, MTS kept Maru in check during the laning phase. I love that Darius pick. And they knew what was coming. They knew that was going to be an Akali. And then everyone, just as you said, TJ, everyone did amazing in Sentinels.
Yeah, take a peek there. Molly with several huge shockwaves. Again, not necessarily always getting the kills, but getting everyone low enough to allow Tybe to get the resets, to create enough chaos for Rest to land the bindings. Yeah, I'm just, it's overcome with emotion right now. And, you know, just a little history lesson. The last time that a North American team beat Korea in League of Legends PC, same franchise, Cloud9 defeated a Freak of Freecs at that time. Another one in the books here in our new game here for the new chapter of Wild Rift. It's Sentinels defeating Kwangdong Freecs here. So,